heavy and hard. You're listening to Metal Morning Drive on Metal Fortress Radio with Lady Rose and the Beast.
Rose from Metal Fortress, the Metal Morning Drive here at WHUS, and I'm live with James from Finger 11. James, we talked briefly about the tour. Why don't you give your fans an update on what Finger 11's doing, the new track, which we have played. I do have it.
July 31st, we have a new record coming out called Five Crooked Lines. The first record we've put out in, I guess, 5 years. Our time away was not time away. It was just time spent making this thing and really figuring out what kind of band we wanted to be able to do it for another 20 years. So this is the beginning of, let's say, another 20 years of doing rock and roll. Let's say that's what this record is. Sort of like a ferocious return to, like, I don't know, like an energy that we had in our naive youth that we kind of matured past, but now we've somehow found a way to work it in there, and it doesn't feel like we're a bunch of bald guys wearing toupees. It's like it feels very natural, but there's something that's a return to a youthful spirit,
I think, and you might agree with me, is that I think we all need to find our youth spirit, because when you, like, even recently with my own experiences, you find that you're so into the adult world that there needs to be some time to find peace with the inner self, the inner child, and that's kind of like similar with the band.
For sure.
And you'll find that with, bands that, go on hiatus and people don't get along because people grow and people change, and it's nobody's fault at all. It's exactly what life is about.
For sure. I think the making music and being in a band has a very unique perspective about that change and evolution that people do, because as individuals, we're all growing and changing, but collectively, we're trying to make something as one entity. We all grow in different directions, but what we agree on musically is the same, then it's kind of easy. We just keep going. But as soon as someone's personal evolution alters the music to where it doesn't fit anymore, then that's where you start to go, okay, well, this is a way of life, but it's also getting in the way of life.
Right, exactly. This time around when you came back, I mean, how did that work? How did somebody contact someone else, or, I mean...
No, like, we just went home and started writing songs the way we always do, the way we always make a record. We kind of, like, come home off the tour and start writing, and it usually sounds a bit like the tail end of the last record, like a little bit of that sound, a little bit of that kind of philosophy. Went at it, like, the way we always do for probably about 2 years. Yeah. And I think something about the sound, the results of it was just like, man, this is so tired. This is just everything we do keeps ending up sounding like this weird, same tired thing. What the fuck? What are we going to do? What the fuck are we going to do? Because we can't do this. I can't go out and, like, let's leave our families behind and spend 2 years on the road if it's going to be this music. I can't do that. Like, we're not, I don't believe in it enough. That's when we got into this. We got into it because we thought, we believe in this fucking music and nobody else does. So we have to go out there and work it and make sure people know it exists. When you are working on stuff that's like, you know what, I almost don't give a shit if this exists, then you're not going to go that extra mile to get out there. So we just halfway through a 5-year stretch, we're like, what is going on? We can't just keep doing this. Everything starts very creative, and then it ends up being refined to this thing that sounds just like the song before,
That is so funny, because, this interview will be the most rawest you'll get, because we're not just people that love music. We actually have bands of our own, and I work with a band, and it's funny that you say that, because they went through the same thing. Like, they play the same songs for the past 7 years. We need something different. Well, I'm sick of it. And when you get to that point, I can understand that point where you're just like, it's time to move on. We need something fresh. We need to attract our fans. And
I think some people, for some people, that's like AC/DC, let's say, like you don't want them to really change. Like they do their thing, and if they woke up one day and were like, we're going to do a 12-minute ballad with 12-string guitars, be like, no, that's not what AC/DC does.
Yep.
So it works for some people, but for us, and for me, in my mind, creativity is the whole reason for doing it is to see how strange it can get, because with creativity and imagination, there's no limits. So I don't want to be in a project that always ends up predictable, even though it can start unpredictable. And partway through, we realized our drummer in the equation was a guy who kept bringing it back to this thing, and we would all talk about, let's go here, let's go there. And as words, we're all agreeing, but as actions and music, it's not. And so that's what had to happen. We were just like, okay, he can't. Us and him together making music is that. If we want to do something different, we have to move away from him. And so that's what we did. Yep. And then all of a sudden, this new record is like, I feel
phenomenal.
Like it's something we've been trying to do for a long time.
And I myself have been a fan of you guys, and I listened to the track and I was like, holy cow, that is like phenomenal. Cool.
I think if you have not heard anything more than the one track, you have many surprises ahead of you. I think it's just top form for us as far as records in our career. This is, if it's not the best one, it's pretty close to it.
Nice. That's awesome.
And it's not like when we started the conversation, like it's not the best in, like, you know, we grew up and now we're good musicians and it sounds really nice, and it's not anything like that. It's very raw, it's made very primitively, like the way we used to make things, but we just have, I guess, years of rock and roll dirt on us. It's genuine. So I don't know. Yeah, I couldn't be happier about it. And like, also what I was talking about, like now we're out on the road, we're doing interviews, we're doing all this stuff, and I'm eager to do it. Like, I want to go tell people about it, because I think if you like rock and roll and you're looking for something these days, this is definitely one of those things you should be hearing.
Yeah, definitely. And those fans out there around the world for Metal Fortress, I believe, would enjoy, you know, the new fresh music that's recently coming out. You know, the Foo Fighters came out. You know, the bands of your era are coming back now, and they're bringing out a taste that is fresh and new. And like you said, the creativity, if they've laid dormant like you guys did and separated and worked with each other's creativity, separated, the massiveness that comes through when you put the two together.
Yeah, I think, and part of that is the patience of an artist, where the commerce of music and entertainment is about momentum. Like, you get popular enough that they put the spotlight on you, and then it's the time when you have to start tap dancing and juggling and do whatever you can to keep that spotlight on you the whole time.
Yep.
And now, if that's your agenda to be famous, then you do what Kim Kardashian does. You just make reasons to be in the news. But what we do, we're not a band of guys who want to be famous. We're guys who want to make kick-ass records, and making that, you can't make that by trying to be famous. You have to make that by going and only making a record. Don't think about, is this going to be popular on the radio? Is somebody going to like it? Anything. It was just put the blinders on, make something that impresses the shit out of you and your bandmates, and that's it.
And your fans, yeah.
I mean, even the fans, as much as I want to seem like I'm we have the best fans. We love our fans. But when we're making our music, I don't think anyone should be allowed in that headspace except for
the band itself.
The minute you start to think what someone you don't know might think of it, you're kind of like, already it's compromised.
Yep.
Now you're doing it for a different reason than the real reason. So, but I think that takes a long time to figure even that out. Like, your agenda changes. When I was younger, I probably was making more decisions just trying to get girls to think I was cool. And now, fuck it. I just want to be like, I want to make records that get remembered.
Right, and it's a message too. I see a lot of you guys sending messages, like the recent one with Pop Evil, Footsteps, and there's many of them. Shinedown. I take it from what you're saying with Kim Kardashian, not too happy about Rolling Stone, are you?
Well, I mean, we were talking about that. I think it's not the first time that someone who was not a musician was on the cover. So I think Rolling Stone putting Kim Kardashian on the cover is not like when Rolling Stone put what's that? Clay Aiken.
Yep.
On the cover. It was already done. Kim Kardashian, put her picture everywhere. She is so hot. I don't care, but like Ruben Studdard and Clay Aiken, that era to me was like, okay, this is putting game show winners on the cover now. This isn't. At least Kim Kardashian is a sort of self-made pop character.
Yeah,
that is actually in the weirdest way an anomaly. Like it's a very modern thing that she's doing. Like what is she?
Yeah.
We don't know, but she's super popular and she's good at it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. Rolling Stone, I think their rock and roll cred kind of was, I don't know, they were already kind of
changing
off and on about
everything.
it long ago.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So what's next for the band? What's going on?
Just touring, and the record, July 31st is the release date, and it's just about touring, playing, making sure everyone knows that it's out there. Like, our last record came out, and it didn't really get as much, I don't know, there was a lot of politics and everything else going on, but I think there was an awareness that didn't really happen. That part of it probably was what I was talking about earlier, like, we're kind of thinking past this. And so when it came time to go and like rattle the cage and let everyone know it was out there, it was sort of like, well,
I have a feeling that you're recently released.
Oh, Gods of Speed.
Gods of Speed, yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think, in
that's
my
like
opinion,
the first track. That's how the new record starts. Gods of Speed. It's just like no warm up, no quiet, rumbly build up. It's just like,
bam.
You open the gates and you hit the fucking gas pedal. Here we go.
Well, that's what I was saying. In my opinion, I think that's going to catch a lot of attention. It caught my attention. I was like, wow, this is awesome. We played it last week, and a lot of our fans called in. And
nice.
Literally, was that really Finger 11? I said, yes, that is. They're going to be really, really good when they hit the airwaves. Honestly.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of that kind of surprise on the record. Like the Wolves and Doors is the only one that sounds like that. And Gods of Speed is the only one that sounds like that. But they're all of this, I don't know, it's all really fuzzy, gritty electric guitar rock and roll. Like no bells and whistles and nothing that's reminiscent of anything. I don't know. It's hard to talk about your own music, but in the last 10 years, I think there's been a style of modern rock that this is nothing like that. This is just a badassery that has been forgotten.
Nice. Well, I wanted to thank you for taking your time with us. We will catch you guys hopefully at a show near us.
I know, I feel stupid that I don't have the information in front of me for it. But
No.
I play guitar for a living. Come on.
That's all you need to pay attention to. Let everybody else do the rest of it.
That's right, yeah.
That's your job.
WMFR, playing today's new music, loading yesterday's favorites. Crank it up.